Look at this match. I've always been interested in the things we take for granted in life and how people managed before they existed. This technology was the main way we made fire for over 150 years. Sure, there were lighters, but they were relatively expensive. As a young man, I smoked. Well, to be honest, as an adolescent, I smoked. And I used these things to light my cigarettes. They are cheap, simple, and biodegradable. And then these things came along. They have almost totally replaced matches. In fact, in this area, I've only found one shop that still sells matches. These things are not cheap, they are not simple, and they are not biodegradable. They're more expensive, they're more complicated, and the plastic in the billions and billions of these things which are thrown away every year place yet another burden on our hard-pressed environment. I despair of human beings sometimes. But let's turn our attention back to the matches. Who invented them and why?
John Walker was born on May the 29th, 1781, in Stockton-on-Tees in the northeast of England. He was a dispenser and druggist for most of his life. Nowadays we'd call him a pharmacist or a chemist. His father, also called John Walker, why do families do that? Anyway, John Walker Sr. was the proprietor of a grocer's and wine merchant shop and had married Mary Peacock in 1766. John Jr. was one of 4 children. At about the age of 15, John Walker was apprenticed to Mr. Watson Alcock, a surgeon. Not much is known about this period of his life, but he worked as an assistant surgeon and maybe even qualified as a full surgeon or doctor. However, he did not stick to this profession for long, and it has been suggested that he could not stand the sight of blood. After abandoning this profession, he went on to study pharmacy with wholesale druggists in Durham and York. In 1819, John opened a shop as a chemist and druggist at 59 High Street, almost opposite his father's shop. You can see it here, or at least you can see the building, which still stands. In the 19th century, the science of pharmacy was still in its infancy, with the transformation from natural cures to scientific prescribing in progress. And when John Walker came to open his shop, he was 38 years old, and in addition to a wide experience of botanical studies and herbal healing, he had a sound training in the use of drugs in human and veterinary practice, and a keen interest in chemistry. In those days, pharmacists made most of their own medicine in-house. This is why they are often called chemists in England, because they needed to study the chemical makeup of the products they sold. This might also explain why before the birth of digital cameras, people got their films developed at chemist shops. It was a chemical process after all. So what did John Walker do that deserves a video? A bit of context here. In the early 1800s, the Industrial Revolution was going at full steam, if you'll pardon the pun. It seems hard to imagine now that this progress had been made without a simple and instant way of lighting fires. Of course, fire-making technology had existed for thousands of years, for example by rubbing wood together, like in this fire drill, or by creating sparks near highly flammable materials called tinder. These portable devices were called tinder boxes, for obvious reasons. And you can also see this modification of a flintlock pistol from the same period was in a way attempt to make the tinderbox idea to a new level and perhaps more portable. The problem was that none of these methods were very reliable, and they often required considerable skill to operate. Generally, people tried to keep fires alight rather than light new ones. Imagine trying to light a candle with any of these if you need to get up in the middle of the night. In Germany, in 1669, an alchemist, appropriately called Brand, discovered phosphorus, which when exposed to air at room temperature spontaneously catches fire. Various devices, like the Promethean match, used the properties of phosphorus to create instant fire, but they had two problems. First, they were very expensive, and second, many of them tended to spontaneously ignite when you least expected it. Imagine the prospect of fires breaking out in your pockets, and all of this naturally negatively affected sales. With the development of steam engines, gas lighting, and many other technologies, the need for something that could instantly ignite was becoming more and more urgent. The idea for the match came to Walker when he was trying to create a lighting solution for miners, and in 1826, when he was experimenting with various chemicals, like the ingredients of the percussion caps used in guns, he mixed potassium, chlorate, and antimony sulfite and found that the mixture would ignite if scraped against a rough surface. He coated the mixture onto wooden sticks and began selling them as friction likes or congreves, later named friction matches. Walker's invention attracted a lot of attention and became popular quickly. He continued to improve the design, replacing antimony sulfate with red phosphorus, which made the matches much safer to use. Although Walker made money from selling the matches, he never took out a patent for the formula. As a result, lots of entrepreneurs started making them. John Walker died in Stockton-on-Tees in 1859 at the age of 77. The industry that he created became a major industry worldwide for over 150 years. Not bad for a small-town chemist.
If you enjoyed this episode, please click the like and subscribe buttons and share it with your friends. By subscribing, you're guaranteeing that you will receive notifications of all the episode. Bye for now.